Hello everybody, Loki Magics, another day, another video. But today's video is all about Rowan. Now, I'm not sure if I said her name correctly. If I messed it up, I apologize. But regardless, today's video is all about her because I always been kind of curious about this champion. And I figure since right now you have a times 10 chance to pull her from Void Shards, might as well make a video on her. I think she has a pretty interesting kit and also a kit that could be a little bit misleading. So if all this sounds interesting to you, let's check out this video and let's get right into it. Alright, so let's talk about her aesthetically real quick. Now looking at her, she's not a bad looking champion. She looks pretty standard, nothing that really catches your eye, nothing that really stands out, but you do get a feel that she's pretty quick on her feet, right? So I guess they got that part right, but overall though, pretty decent, nothing too eye-catching. So let's move on to her artifacts. Now, I have her in store gear for two reasons. One is because her clan boss rating is the highest rating that she has, 4.7, and the rest is, you know, not too good. It's not too bad. And also I have bad Elkazar, so if you have a bad Elkazar, you could really afford to put your team comp for clan boss in store gear because he's pretty much like your lifesteal set for your whole team, right? And for my secondary, I went with Immortal. So you don't have to do what I did, but depending on your team composition and what you have, that would definitely determine how you build her out. But this is her overall stats. She has pretty good HP, pretty good attack. Her defense could be higher, and just to note that she does have a very low baseline stat for defense. So if you're trying to build up her defense, it's going to take some pretty good high-end gear to get that up. So just remember that. And her speed is pretty good. It starts off at 108. So I have her at 192 because at Ultra Nightmare Clan Boss, he starts off at 190, and 192 works for my team comp. So, you know, I just make sure she doesn't cut nobody. So 192 for me. Crit rate, crit damage. Now this could also be a little bit higher if you could afford it, but I wouldn't worry about these two too much because most of her damage is going to come from her poison debuffs when it comes to clan boss. So just want to make sure you have pretty good accuracy. Okay, so that's pretty much her artifacts, nothing too crazy. And just remember, all this stuff is based on your team comp and what you have. Okay, so you don't have to use exactly what I have. And I even put her in, you know, I didn't fully upgrade this, it's still at 14. So, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect as long as it gets the job done. So that is her artifacts in a nutshell. I will go over her skills while I show her in gameplay because I feel like that format might make videos a lot shorter and then it could be a little bit more entertaining. So we'll try that out and you guys let me know how you feel about that. So with that being said, let's move over to her masteries. Now her masteries, I went with offensive. It's pretty much crit rate right here, crit damage, and I just pretty much beeline to War Master. Now I picked War Master because I have a counterattack champion, so she's going to use her A1 a lot more. Now you could use Giant Slayer because, right, I'm not really trying to go over skills, but her A1 attacks 1 time, her A2 attacks 3 times, and her A4 attacks 4 times. So if you average this out, I don't know, you do some like crazy math, maybe you could figure out which one is more beneficial, War Master or Giant Slayer. But I just feel like War Master works better for her. But that's just me. You guys could decide that. And I'm just letting you know my thought process behind that. Now going to the support side, I went with accuracy. More accuracy, the better for this champion. And then I did Cycle Magic because if I could get her poison, what is it, her A3 on cooldown, you know, randomly, then that'll definitely help her damage output. Went with Lord Steel for that little extra perk. I went with Sniper just to add a little bit more chance to her placing those debuffs, and 100% for sure you want to go to Master Hexer so you can extend those duration of those debuffs, right? So her masteries really not too complicated, but I feel like this is a pretty safe bet for clan boss, dungeon clearing type of masteries. All right, so with all that being said, let's check her out in action and at the same time go over these skills. So let's get right into that. Okay, so what can this champion do? So let's talk about it. So her A1 attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing 100% heal reduction debuff for 2 turns, and her damage increases according to speed. Now I try to play with this speed increase damage, whatever multiplier. It really wasn't noticeable. I don't know, maybe I'm missing something, but I really don't think this really adds a lot of value to her. Now that heal reduction, yes, will help out for clan boss. For Fire Knight, but definitely for clan boss, it's a hindrance, right? So, you know, she's rated highest for clan boss, but I really feel like her kit doesn't really synergize well because she does have a decent A3 with poison, but her A1 definitely goes against clan boss, I guess, team building, right? Because if you throw her in a team comp with counter, you know she's going to do her A1 a bunch of times, and the likelihood of this heal reduction being placed, like you see right now in the background, is going to be very high, and you're now taking away one debuff that can actually be used on a clan boss, right? So going from 10, you're really going to 9. So her kit kind of contradicts herself, and I feel like champions that have kits like that and they don't really synergize completely even with themselves are not ideal, especially for Ultra 9 or clan boss. I could see her being used all the way up to that point, not saying you can't use her there, but I see that's where you will start to transition and look for other champions. Okay, so let's talk about her A2. So her A2 isn't bad. It attacks 3 times at random. So for clan boss, since he's the only one, it would attack him 3 times, but the clan boss cannot be stunned. So this A2 isn't really the worst A2 for clan boss, but it's really good for Fire Knight, right? And we'll get to Fire Knight, but for now, you know, it's just that, you know, I don't think she's a very hard-hitting champion. She doesn't really have the multiplies for it. So yeah, she attacks 3 times, and maybe this is where you want to use Giant Slayer versus War Master. I don't think it's worth it, but you know, her A2 is okay for clan boss. Alright, so let's talk about this A3. Now, this is probably why she got a 4.7 rating for clan boss, but if you really think about it, I don't think it's deserving of that rating because look, for one, this is on a 4-turn cooldown, and also I failed to mention earlier, all of her skills are fully booked and she does have full masteries. Just in case you didn't know, now you know. But going back to her A3, yeah, it's a 4-turn cooldown and attacks 4 times, which is nice, but each hit has a 50% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. But since it's a 50% and we have sniper, so it's really a 55%, you're still averaging probably 2 to 3 per turn, right? And if you know you got master hexer, so yes, you could bump it up a little bit more, you know, every time it does get applied. But overall though, I really don't think it's a strong A3. Like, yes, it does have damage potential. If you pair her up with someone like Vizier, I guess it really doesn't matter. You could just stack up poisons and she could be that champion for you. But honestly, nowadays I'm starting to see a lot of comp that isn't using Vizier and they have ridiculous high damage output. So for sure, 100% without a doubt, I could say that Rowan, this champion, at the end of the day, is really not the ideal clan boss champion. Now, if someone said Rowan is really good for Fire Knight, now that is a completely different argument, and I could see that being more sensible than a 4.7 for clan boss. And you can see right here, Thor did a lot more damage than our champion in this video, right? I mean, it's not a lot more, but Thor also wasn't in the ideal setup, but he still did more. And the reason why he did more is because of this. His A2 is just a much better skill when it comes to clan boss because it's on a shorter cooldown. It's on a 3-turn cooldown and it doesn't have any percentages. It just does it as long as you have the accuracy. Alright, so let's talk about her in Fire Knight. So you remember that A1 with heal reduction? You can see right here she's going to apply it. So it does, you know, do pretty good work for Fire Knight, right? But then she has her A2, her A3 that does hit multiple times. So yes, it's going to help out taking down that shield. But if you see this team composition right here, we have Cold Heart and Lordly Legionnaire. So I would say these champions are better than Rowan when it comes to Fire Knight, right? So I guess like the overall thing for this champion is that her kit isn't bad, right? She's like flexible, but she's not the greatest in anything. So for an epic void champion, you would think that she'll stand out more. Like she'll have a more of a use case, like a claim to fame. Like maybe she's excellent in clan boss, or maybe she's really good for Fire Knight, but she's just in between all that. She's not perfect for anything. So I feel like it's a very unfortunate situation for this champion, but you know, I don't know. I'm not saying don't use her anywhere. I just think overall she could just be more fine-tuned to be great in one thing versus meh in multiple places, if that makes sense. But regardless, that's pretty much her in a nutshell. Let's fast forward to the end just so you can see some of the numbers of the result of the final of the battle, excuse me. Alright, and naturally Heartseeker takes out Fire Knight. So you can see right here, she did a mill, pretty close to Cold Heart, right? Not too bad. I'm not saying she's a champion that's unusable. She's pretty usable, but it's just a little bit of a lackluster of a champion. She's a void epic. She should be much better in my opinion. What do you guys think? Let me know. Anyways, this is it for this video. You guys be safe. See you later.